Okay, we're going counterclockwise around the structure. This guardrail is ornamental, so I almost hate saying this, but these balusters are spaced farther apart than 4 inches, and that's going to make the report. But I don't mind saying this. Okay, the beams and the side rails, okay, the framing, okay, all these should have had stands installed underneath them to keep the water from wicking up. And we got some cracking and peeling paint. We got a little bit of movement, and we've got some repair, but we got a little bit of movement right here on this window. And now we're going, and then the cracking on the flat work. Concrete does two things: it gets hard and cracks. I get that. But the cracking seems to be a little more on this side of the porch than the other side. And when I say more, I mean larger, and maybe one or two more cracks in numbers. But the cracks definitely seem, to me, I mean, I feel like they're a little larger. Um, Moving on along, I also notice around the perimeter of the home, we do not see weep holes. Okay, brick is a very good building material. This house could burn down, you could reuse the brick. But a quality about brick is that it's porous and water goes right through it. So we built these houses, supposed to have built these houses, with drainage planes behind the brick. And then we have weep holes every so often. Well, we don't have them here. And the weep holes, most of the time they allow vapor out. Most of the time you don't see it, but if you have an event, water will come out. But we're supposed to have weep holes. And then every 20 feet or so, 30 feet or so, 25 feet or so, ever so many feet, we're supposed to have control joints in the brickwork. In the 80s, we weren't real big on control joints. It was kind of a new thing. It's not unusual to find a house in the 80s that doesn't have control joints. It's kind of rare, but not impossible to find houses built in the 80s without weep holes. 70s and 60s, that was very common. So we're out in the country, and maybe the builder was a little bit behind the ball back in the 80s out in the country. So we got a little bit of movement in this window right here. We got a little bit of cracking between the brick mortar right there. We come on along. Our windows are double pane, metal frame, probably aluminum. Our window ledges. Look at that. Let's see here. Let me try this. Let's just try this. Let's see. Measures. Level. Our window ledges are level. Okay. Somebody was probably real proud of that. But the idea about the window ledge is it's supposed to have a pitch on it to divert water away from the structure. It's supposed to have a pitch on it to divert water away from the structure. And it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. So, moving on along, we have some cracking and peeling paint. And a bird's nest, and we got a couple water leaks right here. And I've got a still image of that. I'm going to bake into the report. And we're going to roll on, because we're rollers. I'm going to roll on across the front porch here. And again, the cracks seem to be a little bit larger. These windows, okay, these side lights, they're supposed to be tempered safety glass, and I have not seen the indication. They call them bugs in the industry, but there's a little bitty label in a corner. If I see one, then they're all set, But I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one. Moving on along, these paving stones, brick as you will, and flagstone, others, okay, this is beyond the scope of the inspection. But just know that these are not uniform, okay? And so if somebody has difficulty walking, if their gait is unsteady, he's old like your home inspector. Kids, they're like mountain goats. They'll just jump all over that stuff. But some of us, if your friends, they're inebriated and they're trying to come visit you, they could fall down before they get to the front door. Then we've got trees should not be closer to the slab foundation than 25 feet. These roots will grow up underneath there and take the moisture you're supposed to have. We are in North Texas. You're supposed to have Northeast Texas, and we're supposed to have an even amount of moisture around the foundation perimeter so that it goes up and down. The whole structure goes up and down at the same rate. But you got trees over here sucking the moisture out, and then when a tree root grows, okay, its roots will push up against the foundation, causing it to crack. Just saying. Coming along here. Again, no weep holes. Little cracks, but not as big. Not as big. All this foliage should have been taken off. Any electric receptacle outlet I've seen out here on the front porch, side, in the garage for that matter, no GFCI. And all this foliage should have come off. Oh, and remember I was talking about the stands? Well, now this guy's starting to rot because he doesn't have a stand picking him up. Another thing about these guys is these posts. I wasn't the engineer, okay? There might have been an exception is what I'm saying. But these posts shouldn't have been spaced farther apart than 8 feet. And they look more like 18 feet to me. So there's that. Come on along. Cracking and peeling paint. Oh, while I was there I should have... I'll get off of this corner eventually. These are the main water shutoff valves. That's the front faucet. And none of the exterior faucets have vacuum breakers. This house measured 65 psi. All these bushes should be coming off. This door goes into the garage. Pedestrian door to the patio here. And some of our faux muntins are missing. I understand. I haven't really seen it, located it, understand it. But my client, who ordered this inspection, also... Well, here it is. This here. That's supposed to be a French drain right there. I call it a surface drain, but they installed a drain over here because they know that they've got drainage problems. I probably would have brought the drain on over a little closer to the structure myself. Because, to me, I mean, just use your forensic imagination. I can see everything going down into that corner. That's what I see. And coming along. Then on our garage car entry. Okay, our casement is not supposed to be in direct contact with the concrete. Just like on the front porch post. And see, they've even replaced it. And what do? They put it right back like it was, so the same problem is going to reoccur. It's going to rot just like it did. You put it right back where it was. There's supposed to be 2 inches of gap underneath that to let that, okay, aerate, to let it dry. All these bushes should be coming off. All kinds of questions about the electrical system. We got a whole video about it. And then over here, that's the primary drain pipe for the air conditioning system for this side. It's sitting here just dripping all the time. The trees over there are sucking the water out. This is putting water on. We've got different forces, ground forces, pushing against the foundation. And all garages have some cracking on the floor. I get that. I can't say, oh, see that drip, and I can't really say that, but still, That should have been cut back. That shouldn't be draining next to it. All these bushes should be cut back. This window is fogging. Now on a retaining wall that's less than 4 feet, they didn't need a permit. I'm not sure they would have pulled one regardless, but it wasn't required. And if a retaining wall is twice its height away from the foundation, it has no immediate effect on the structure. Okay, so therefore it is beyond the scope of this inspection. In the meantime, it looks like it's performing well. I do not see any weep provisions for it. And also, I wasn't here when they installed it, so I don't know how it was backfilled. I don't know if there was any dead men or tiebacks or geogrid or anything like that to help maintain the stability. I don't know what's under the grass. I just don't know. We've got a whole video about this crooked air conditioning unit sitting cattywampus on this pad here, and the wrong types of insulation, and the fact that it doesn't have a diverter on it. We've got all kinds of stuff. We got a little bit of wood rot that's forming underneath this high pressure sodium light right here. And we got some exposed NM cable. And moving on along, all this. You're just asking for termites and carpenter ants. I mean, you're begging for them. So I get it. It's an English garden, and it's all overgrown, and it's, you know, it's Crosby, Stills, and Nash, San Francisco hippie, tie-dye, whatever, you know, peace and love and all that, but, you know, it's just not fair to the structure. If you want this structure to take care of you, you've got to take care of it. And I'm just saying that all these things could be better arranged so that they don't affect the structure like they do. We could have all these same plants